Rule of 55 is a very useful tool for accessing your retirement funds early if you're a federal employee facing a RIF, if you're considering taking a VERA, a voluntary early retirement, and you don't think you'll have enough to make it month to month until you find another job. The Rule of 55 might help you. So I'll go over what the rule is for normal federal employees, and then we'll add on special category employees at the end. So as you've probably been told, if you put your money in the TSP, if you put it in a traditional IRA or Roth IRA, you can put it in, but you can't take it out until 59 and a half. And if you do, not only are you taxed on it as income, but you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty. However, the Rule of 55 allows you to withdraw money without a penalty if you separate from your employer at age 55 or older. So it's called the Rule of 55, but if you leave when you're 56, 57, 58, 59, you can still use it. Just can't use it in most cases if you're under 55. And this applies to your retirement plan at your employer when you leave, not for prior employees, not for prior employers. All right, I got this from the Motley Fool and it makes it easy to understand. So if you're leaving your job this year, say with the federal government, and you will turn 55 this year, the Rule of 55 applies to you. If you're older than 55, if you're 56, 57, 58, it already applies to you. But if you leave and you're not yet 55, but you turn 55 in the year you leave, it would still apply. So let's say that you leave now, which is August, and you don't turn 55 till December. You still turn 55 this year, so the Rule of 55 would apply to you. And it applies if you're a federal employee withdrawing funds from the 401k, which would be the TSP, from your most recent employer. So if you came to the government from a private employer, or you have an IRA or a Roth IRA, you would not be able to access them with the Rule of 55. It would apply to the retirement account from your current employer when you leave and you're 55 or older. So that would be your TSP plan. And whether you leave, resign, you're fired, you take a VERA, the Rule of 55 would apply. But you have to leave in the year that you turn 55 or older. If you leave before that, you can't use it after the fact. So I left when I was 53. So when I turn 55, I can't use it. Had I waited another year and left when I was 54 and then turned 55, I could use it. But because I left before the year I turned 55, I can't use it. But if you leave in the year you turn 55 or older, you can use it for the employer where you're working currently, which in your case would be the federal government. You wouldn't be able to use it for prior employers, retirement accounts, or your IRA or Roth IRA, but you could use it for your TSP to withdraw early. It would still be counted as tax when you use it, but it would still be counted as income and taxed that way in the year you use it, but you would not get that 10% penalty. Now, if you are a special category employee, that's police, firefighters, you know who you are. In your case, it's not the Rule of 55. In your case, it's the Rule of 50. So you can start using that at 50, which coincidentally is the first year most people are eligible for the VERA after 20 years of service. So for most federal employees, it's the Rule of 55, but for special category employees, it would be 50. So the one thing that you should not do to screw this up is to transfer this money to a traditional IRA. So if you're at the federal government and you get separated this year, whether you quit, whether you take a VERA, whether you get terminated in a RIF, even if you're 54, but you'll be turning 55 before the end of the year, you can make these penalty withdrawals from your TSP. They're taxed as income, but you don't have to pay a 10% penalty like you normally would to access your retirement funds. So if you're thinking of the Vera and you say, well, I don't have enough to cover my expenses, I'll have to get another job and I don't know how I'm going to cover my expenses till then, you can use this strategy, the rule of 55. And the only thing you shouldn't do, which would screw this up, is if you transfer money from your TSP to your IRA or your Roth IRA. Because the Roth IRA or traditional IRA, you still have this 59.5 requirement for you to withdraw your funds. So even though you can withdraw here at age 55, if you transfer from your TSP to your IRA, now it's locked in here until 59.5. So don't move the money around until you know exactly what you're going to do. If you can't take advantage of the rule of 55, do it if you need it and keep it as an option, even if you don't. But once you move it from here to your traditional IRA, the IRA rules apply and the rule of 55 doesn't govern that. Now, what if you left at age 55 and then you got another job and they also have a retirement account, and then you left, let's say you were age 57, can you access that employer's 401k? Yes, you can, because you're over 55 and then you are withdrawing from that particular employer's 401k, so you can do that. And you're still able to withdraw from the federal one because you left when you were age 55 or over, but you wouldn't be able to use a prior employer's 401k if you have them, because you didn't leave here when you were 55. You left here, you left here, you were 55 plus, but you didn't leave here 55 plus, so you can't access this. And again, the only thing you shouldn't do that would mess this up is transfer to your traditional IRA or Roth IRA, because then the rule of 55 would not apply. The IRA rules of 59.5 would apply. And there are good reasons to transfer it from your TSP to your IRA, but this is one of the things that you need to consider, which could screw that up. Now, here's a disclaimer. I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer, and I'm not a financial advisor. So everything I've said here is for educational and informational purposes only. There's no one course of action that is best for everyone, so you need to look at your own individual circumstances and the plus and minuses of doing something, and talk it over with your own lawyer, talk it over with your financial planner, talk it over with your family. Don't do something because somebody on YouTube told you to do it. So as I said, I can't use the rule of 55 because I left when I was 53 and now I'm 54. So the year I left, I would not be able to use this. And next year I will be 55, but I can't use this because I left when I was 53 to 54. Do I regret it? No, absolutely not. I worked at my agency for 22 years, and in that entire time, the only time they had offered a Vera was when I first started. And so when they offered it at the end of last year, I had no idea if it would ever come around again. So I took it. I did what for me and my family was the best choice given the circumstances and all the available information. And given your family circumstances and all your available information, you should make the best decision for you and your family. So I know it's a difficult time to be a Fed and it keeps getting worse and worse, but don't leave because they want you to leave. Leave because it makes sense for you and your family. And I know it's a difficult time to interview in your 50s. I'm going through that now, but hang in there, stay positive and help each other out in any way you can. So I don't think there's many more videos I can do about VERAs and VSIPs and early retirements and RIFs. So I don't know if I'll do more of these, but if you have specific questions or an idea for a video, leave it below. And good luck out there, everyone.